Today in the battle arena, we got two of the greatest swordsmen of all time. Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher is taking on Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Who's coming out top here? Let's find out. Geralt is a Witcher, a superhuman mutant monster slayer for hire. Shortly after his birth, Geralt was taken by his mother to a Witcher stronghold in the School of the Wolf. Whilst there, he was trained almost exclusively to kill monsters, practicing swordsmanship skills and learning about monsters. Geralt is superhumanly strong, able to beat bears and even rock trolls to death with his bare hands. I was like some seriously powerful striking power, especially with his sword. He's able to cut off a monster's head with a one-handed sword swing, cut a large monster in half with one swing of a sword. Geralt is also superhumanly durable, and it's even been said that Witchers have an abnormal pain resistance. He's been sliced across the chest and completely ignored the pain, and even his incredible regenerative powers, and his healing factor allows him to recover from what would otherwise have been a fatal wound. Finally, Geralt is incredibly fast and agile. He's cut down crossbow bolts, dodged sword strikes and spear throws. He's actually able to swing his sword faster than the eye can follow. It's even said that Geralt is fast enough to cut down 20 men in the blink of an eye. He also always carries around two swords, one made of steel and made of silver, for the purpose of killing humans and monsters respectively. He also always carries a dagger on him as a backup weapon. Geralt is exceptionally skilled with these swords as well, being called the greatest swordsman the North has ever seen. He's almost 100 years old, and constantly trains whenever he has spare time. He's killed 2 other Witchers at once, killed 20 soldiers at once, and even killed the King of the Wild Hunt himself. And even though Witchers primarily use steel and silver swords, Geralt has been trained with most weapons, including battle axes, pikes, slingshots, and bow and arrows. Finally, Geralt has mastered 5 science used in his travels: Axii, which is a form of mind control; Ard, a telekinetic blast; Quen, a magical shield to protect it from harm; Igni, flames that shoot out from his hands; Yrden, magical trap that slows down things when they get near it; and Heliotrope, which is a bear designed to protect him from physical and magical harm. So, that's we got one corner, Geralt of Rivia, the White Wolf, the Witcher. But, entering the ring, at the corner, was Aragorn, Strider, the King of the Reunited Kingdom. Aragorn, son of Arathorn, also known as Strider, was the 16th chieftain of the Dúnedain of the North, also later crowned as King of Gondor, the first High King of both Gondor and Arnor. He was a great ranger and warrior, and as Isildur's heir, he bore the shards of Narsil, later reforged and renamed Andoril the War of the Ring. Aragorn is a massive man, standing at 6 feet 6 inches, and is able to use all this strength and power to split metal helmets with his sword, knock orcs over and send them flying backwards, and he's casually picked up and carried to the hobbits, even running while carrying them. Aragorn is also remarkably fast, has impressive stamina, running 155 miles in just 4 days. He's able to move so quickly in combat that it's nearly impossible for the orc archers to shoot him. He also has remarkable senses, as Aragorn was the first member of the Fellowship to see something in the river, even beating out Legolas, and was the first member of the Fellowship to hear wolves howling in the distance. In fact, Aragorn might actually have some sort of foresight or precognition, as he was able to sense danger and hear Frodo drawing his sword while sound asleep, and again sense the presence of orcs while asleep. Aragorn is also one of the most skilled swordsmen and fighters in all of Middle-earth, defeating orc captains, the leader of the wargs. He's able to hold back the orcs on a stairway at Helm's Deep. It actually got to the point where the orcs were afraid to take him on, and just the gleam of Andoril and the terror of that sword was to hold them at bay. Aragorn is also a skilled tracker. According to Gandalf, he is the greatest traveler and huntsman in the entire world for the past 3,000 years. And he's so skilled, also just so lucky, he's able to make it through the entire War of the Ring unscathed without serious injury. So, who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, both Geralt and Aragorn are two of the greatest swordsmen in all of fiction. They're two men who have taken on mortals and monsters and armies. But what if Geralt and Aragorn ever clash swords against one another? Who'd come out on top? Well, Day, that's what we're going to find out. And first things first, strength and physicality. Well, starting out, Geralt is a mutant, making him superhuman. And well, he's strong enough to casually break bones with simple strikes. He's able to pull back on a dragon's head, actually beating both bears and rock trolls to death with his bare hands. Also, class swords of Amaryl's mace didn't budge at all when he blocked a downward strike from the mace. Even though Amalurith is easily superhuman and can effortlessly kill men with just one hand. Speaking of Geralt's swords, The Witcher has some serious striking power with those things, being able to easily decapitate or bisect monsters with just simple swings, even while swinging his sword with just one hand. Even when people are trying to block his sword strikes, he still hits with enough power to knock them to their knees, actually send their own sword smashing back into their face. But Aragorn isn't some normal guy, and in fact you could call him superhuman too, considering he's a Númenórean, meaning he's much stronger than the average man. In the books, they would knock orcs off cliffs, send them flying backwards, swing his sword hard enough to split through metal helmets, he's able to push through a small path in the snow that was large enough that the tallest man could sink in. While the Fellowship was halfway up a mountain, so to make this path all the way down to the bottom of the mountain. That might not necessarily sound impressive, but it actually is. Then in the movies, Aragorn is able to pull back on a cave troll, regularly fight against and plow through both orcs and Uruk-hai, who are at least on the same level as some of the monsters that Geralt has faced, and held his own against an armored troll in a 1-on-1 combat. And an armored troll is definitely superior to the monsters that Geralt has faced. Aragorn is actually able to kill a few Uruk-hais just by the sheer force of his body weight slamming down on top of them. So about durability. Well, all Witchers are said to have an abnormal pain resistance. It's actually been suggested that they don't even feel pain while in a fight. This has been backed up by Geralt being sliced across the chest, but not even registering the attack, or taking attacks on monsters strong enough to easily rip humans in half. He's even got a healing factor and exceptional powers of regeneration, and is actually healed from attacks where the wound was so deep that all the insides of Geralt's throat were visible. On top of that, Geralt has actually taken several hits from a fiend and got right back up and immediately kept on fighting. And fiends are walking mountains of muscle. One blow can kill both a horse and his armored rider. Even Witchers who specialize in the power of signs can't even move one inch. Geralt even later said that the fiend he went up against was bigger, stronger, and faster than most. Problem with Aragorn, though, is that we never really see how durable he is. In the books, he makes it through the entire series without really any serious injury, basically making it through the War of the Ring unscathed. Definitely says a lot about his skill and his battle prowess to make it through such a dangerous war without being hurt, but it doesn't really say a lot about his durability. Over in the movies, though, well, he's taking attacks from the cave troll, from Uruk-hai, from the attack troll. He decided to fall off the cliff along with the warg. However, arguably even more impressive than Aragorn's durability is his endurance. It's been said before that Númenóreans can travel 8 leagues fully armored in one day without fatigue. And it's because of this endurance that Aragorn is able to track Merry and Pippin for 3 days straight without food, water, or rest. Later on, Aragorn covered somewhere around 55 leagues in 4 days, according to Éomer, which would roughly translate to about 150 miles. This endurance also definitely translates into battle too, as Aragorn has been able to slaughter whole squadrons of Uruk-hai with ease and keep on going strong afterwards. And then there's speed. Geralt is fast enough to cut crossbow bolts and arrows in half. And just how fast are arrows and crossbow bolts? Well, that's actually a good question. So Geralt inflicted a crossbow bolt at a distance of less than 2 meters. Crossbows can fire at a velocity around 200 miles per hour, around 300 feet per second. So at a distance of maybe 5 feet. Geralt reacted to and deflected the bolt in a fight, which would make Geralt's reaction time 60 times faster than the velocity of the crossbow. It means that he reacted to it and swung his sword within 0.016 seconds. That's some absolutely crazy speed. On top of that, he's able to swing his sword faster than the eye can see, cut down 20 men in the blink of an eye, and even react to people while they were teleporting in mid-combat. Remember, Geralt has spent his entire life hunting down and killing supernatural monsters. And all these monsters have superhuman speed, like werecats. More impressively, high vampires. Let me just tell you, the high vampires are insanely fast. They're actually considerably faster than Geralt, some of them by a good margin. Yet Geralt is still able to contend with them. So how fast is Aragorn? Well, it's been said they can move with the swiftness of the elves. He's been able to routinely blitz opponents and block attacks from average warriors, can move so quickly that no one is able to tag him, even with bow and arrows. He's actually ducked under an arrow after it's been fired and deflected a dagger thrown at him. Overall, though, as impressive as Aragorn is, he's definitely superhuman, I think Geralt is all around better. But I think that's only one element of this. Also gotta talk about swordplay and fighting skill. And Aragorn is one of the best swordsmen in all of Middle-earth. Like, Aragorn is effortlessly able to plow through orcs like they were nothing. And these orcs are definitely powerful, as each one of them is able to contend and overpower Soldier Rohan. However, I have had it suggested before that orcs really aren't that powerful, because even hobbits are able to kill them, and so Aragorn being able to kill them isn't impressive at all. Therefore, Geralt is more impressive and the better fighter. But let me tell you, that's a terrible argument. For starters, it completely misses one of the main points of Lord of the Rings, that anyone can be a hero. The entire plot of the franchise hinges around a group of hobbits being able to do the impossible and overcoming countless challenges and obstacles to do so. Sam managed to drive home a creature that struck fear into Mordor itself. Merry and Pippin took part in the Battle of Minas Tirith, Pelennor Fields, and stood at Aragorn's side, literally at Sauron's front door. So of course, they're able to kill orcs as well. These hobbits are incredibly tough and resilient. Second reason that's a bad argument is because Aragorn has a lot of other feats besides just battling against orcs. Namely, battling against the Uruk-hai, or super steroid orcs. Aragorn has battled against entire squadrons of Uruk-hais all by himself with ease. And these Uruk-hais were created by Saruman to battle against both men and elves. And really, the Uruk-hai are to orcs what elves are to men. As if that wasn't enough, Aragorn is able to single-handedly battle against trolls. He even went up against the Witch King of Angmar and the Nazgul by himself. On the other hand, Geralt has been referred to as the greatest swordsman that the North had ever seen. He's able to beat and kill other Witchers, even when double-teamed or blinded by a flash bomb. He's killed 6 highly trained swordsmen all at once without getting hit once, killed powerful people like Eredin, the king of the Wild Hunt, even beat and kill higher vampires, who are arguably the most powerful creatures in the Witcher universe, and are known for killing Witchers. He's physically superior to Aragorn, and is arguably just as skilled as him. But the big advantage in Geralt's corner in this fight are his signs. He's got a telekinetic blast that can send people flying backwards, or even disarm opponents. A magical shield that can protect Geralt from harm, and Geralt can even shoot flames of fire from his hands, one single blast being enough to kill a man. So, end of the day, who's coming out on top here? Well, I think it's gotta be Geralt of Rivia. He's physically superior, is arguably just as skilled as Aragorn, as his signs and magic, which are things that Aragorn can't counter. So gotta give this one to the Witcher. Geralt wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sign off in the comments down below. Also be sure the like button, subscribe button, turn notification on the DanCo army, and I will see you next time.